How powerful is Gandalf? For a mighty wizard, we don't often see Gandalf unleash his full powers in ways you might expect. And even when he does, it can sometimes feel a bit understated. So what kind of magic does Gandalf actually wield? Let's take a closer look at Gandalf's mysterious power and why it seems both immense and restrained. Hi everyone, my name is Thomas Love. Welcome to Mythology and Fiction, where we dive deep into the worlds of fantasy books, TV shows, and movies like The Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, Arcane, and more. If you enjoy content that explores the lore behind these stories, feel free to subscribe. So how powerful is Gandalf really? In The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, Gandalf is known to the hobbits of the Shire as a wizard, though to them, that mostly just means he's an old man who brings fireworks. They have no idea he's part of something much larger. But in truth, Gandalf is much more than an old spellcaster. He's a Maia, a divine spirit created by Eru Ilúvatar, who can take different forms and exists on a plane far beyond mortal understanding. As a Maia, Gandalf is immortal and bound by duty rather than desire. He came to Middle-earth not as a ruler but as a guide. Along with the other Istari, or wizards, he was sent by the Valar, the more powerful Ainur who govern Middle-earth, to inspire and support the free peoples in resisting Sauron's power. His purpose was never to conquer, but to encourage others to find their strength. One of Gandalf's most critical powers is his gift of foresight. He often has a sense of things to come, even if the details are unclear. For example, he knew from early on that the hobbits would play a crucial role in Sauron's defeat, which is partly why he formed such a strong bond with them. He also had an intuition about Gollum's part in the story, as he tells Frodo, "My heart tells me that Gollum has some part to play yet, for good or ill." Gandalf's wisdom and intuition are perhaps his greatest strengths. He knows when to push, when to wait, and when to allow others to take the lead. This wisdom is not flashy magic but has a profound effect on those around him, like when he entrusted the ring to Frodo and convinced Aragorn to lead the Fellowship. His encouragement drove these characters to their destinies. When Gandalf arrived in Middle-earth, Gurdan the Shipwright gave him Naraya, one of the 3 elven rings of power, also known as the Ring of Fire. This ring gave Gandalf the ability to inspire courage in others and to resist weariness. Círdan told him, "With it, you may rekindle hearts in a world that grows chill." This is why Gandalf often appears as a source of strength to those around him. When he falls in Moria, the Fellowship is nearly crushed by despair, a testament to his powerful influence. Narya also enhanced Gandalf's ability to manipulate fire, which we see in several scenes. He can light campfires in wet conditions, create blinding lights to ward off enemies, and even uses his staff to produce bursts of fire in dire situations. In Moria, he used flames to confront the Balrog, a creature of similar origin as himself, showing that his mastery over fire is more than mere pyrotechnics. It's a reflection of his inner strength. Unlike many wizards in fantasy, Gandalf doesn't throw fireballs or wield explosive spells in battle. His magic is more subtle and often used to buy time or to create an opening. For instance, when the Fellowship is cornered by wargs in The Hobbit, Gandalf conjures flaming pine cones, throwing them down at the wolves to create confusion and a chance for escape. And in The Two Towers, he uses a flash of blinding light to drive back the Nazgûl, wielding light as his primary weapon against darkness. However, Gandalf's magic is not without limits. He once told Frodo that magic isn't all-powerful. In Moria, he battles the Balrog not just with spells, but with sheer will and resilience. This fight took everything he had, ultimately leading to his physical death, showing that even a Maia has boundaries when it comes to power. Gandalf's powers extend beyond the physical. He's shown to have abilities in telepathy, able to communicate with others through thoughts. In The Return of the King, Gandalf, Elrond, and Galadriel speak mind to mind, and he's able to sense Frodo's thoughts and feelings from afar. His connection with his horse, Shadowfax, is similarly telepathic. He can summon Shadowfax without a word, reflecting a deep bond. Gandalf combines telekinesis with telepathy, demonstrated when he breaks Saruman's staff simply by commanding, "Your staff is broken." When Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas first encounter Gandalf the White, mistaking him for Saruman, he showcases his power. He lifts his staff, causing Gimli's axe to fly from his hands, Aragorn's sword to blaze with fire, and Legolas's arrow to fire into the sky against his will. Gandalf's magical versatility is vast, encompassing fire, mental control, water manipulation, lock-picking, light, and more. This video alone reveals over a dozen distinct uses of his magic, not to mention his inherent abilities as a Maia. Yet, some readers leave The Lord of the Rings with the impression that Gandalf doesn't use much magic. This could be due to comparisons with modern high fantasy, where magic is often more overt and flashy. In a game like Dungeons & Dragons, Gandalf's abilities might not seem extraordinary. However, Tolkien intentionally kept Gandalf's magic subtle. For Gandalf, magic has a cost. It can exhaust him, especially when performing powerful spells like words of command. For instance, he doesn't perform grand magic frivolously, but uses the right spells at the right moments. His knowledge is immense. He can read and use runes, enhance magical weapons like Glamdring, and even bless beer, such as at the Prancing Pony, where Barlam and Butterbur's ale became exceptional for 7 years. Despite his power, Gandalf prefers humility, refraining from flashy displays unless necessary. For example, the light and fire he unleashed at Weathertop drove off the Nazgul, but exhausted him. And even then, it wasn't meant to impress. Yet he occasionally adds artistic touches, like the water horses in Elrond's Flood or his fireworks in the Shire. Gandalf's restraint aligns with his mission from the Valar, to guide and encourage the free peoples rather than dominate them. Though one of the most powerful beings in Middle-earth, Gandalf held back to allow others to rise to the challenge. After becoming Gandalf the White, he acknowledges his increased power, telling Gimli he is more dangerous than anything, except Sauron himself. Still, he rarely uses his power to its fullest, proving that true strength lies in wisdom and humility. Ultimately, Gandalf's approach underscores one of Tolkien's core themes. Power should serve, not seek glory. His restraint helped defeat Sauron, showing that even the most powerful have a responsibility to use their abilities wisely.